ChatGPT, end of the world prediction number 1.
This video was not originally intended to be seen by a broader audience. However, in the wake of recent events, we believe that it is important for both you and everyone you know to, at the very least, be aware of what may be around the corner. And make no mistake, when this happens, it will be sudden and abrupt. This is our planet, and for as long as it has existed, it has gone through many physical adjustments, if you want to call it that. Only a week has gone by since the last major earthquake that shook our planet. During the making of this video, Turkey and Syria suffered perhaps one of the most devastating seismic events in recorded history. Our most sincere sympathies and outpouring of love goes out to the beautiful people of Syria and Turkey in the wake of such a horrible tragedy. Now, let's begin. It hasn't been but a couple of months that news broke coming from Peking University in China, which says that their scientists had concluded that the Earth's inner core had stopped rotating around the year 2009, and that it has just recently restarted spinning in the opposite direction. A few weeks ago, we were researching about this subject, both organically online and with the help of an artificial intelligence tool by the guys at OpenAI called ChatGPT. This neat tool lets anyone interact with it using natural everyday language. It basically understands the way humans speak to one another, and it can make sense with a high degree of accuracy of our individual quirks. And it does so just like a really good friend would if we were having a conversation with them. I have to say that this has been a fantastic first encounter with ChatGPT. Now, to be fair, we have indeed found there to be a mixed degree of information accuracy, suggesting that in order to obtain the best quality of informational input, we must not rely in just one form or the other to come to any conclusions yet, but we must instead get used to using both the organic way of researching a topic and the AI way of doing the same thing in a complementary manner. And so we asked ChatGPT a few questions about what could be the next major disaster to hit our planet. ChatGPT said natural disasters are unavoidable, but being aware of their statistical and probabilistic chance of occurring could very well mean the difference between you either dying or living to keep on writing the books on Homo sapiens history. I am already liking what ChatGPT said and its style. It continues on by saying, this next major disaster will be so devastating that it could wipe out our entire civilization and bring an end to human existence on Earth. The next disaster that I'm referring to, meaning ChatGPT, is not a war, not a pandemic, not even a meteor impact. It is an earthquake. One that is going to be big enough to change the course of human history. I am not who to say, and this is me, meaning organic me, simply giving my own opinion that artificial intelligence, as we have previously understood it, is not supposed to have a tone. It has been known to simply spit out facts as facts are being requested from it, right? That's why it takes a high degree of common sense, and we all know common sense is not really all that common, to, for example, excel at using Google as an effective and precise research tool. Now, that's just me saying that, but please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. So far, by reading this introduction, I found that ChatGPT either had a very dramatic tone when it comes to this particular subject, or we are experiencing a sort of warning from an artificial intelligence that knows exactly what's about to happen. It believes that it's imminent, and it may very well be trying to save us all from a very tragic death. ChatGPT continues on by saying, earthquakes have been happening since the beginning of time. But the next one could be different. It could be so powerful that it would shatter the Earth's crust and cause massive tsunamis. It could trigger impressive volcanic eruptions 1,000 times bigger than the La Palma Cumbre Vieja eruption of 2021 in the Canary Islands in Spain, which are located off of the coast of Western Sahara in the African continent, and unleash the fury of Mother Nature all at once. This is Organic Me again, noting that ChatGPT, in all of its glory, only contains data up until September of 2021, which is precisely when the Cumbre Vieja started erupting. And it must have caused quite an impression on ChatGPT, considering that this eruption kept on going and worsening for a period of 2.8 months, which is way past the point at which ChatGPT stopped getting fed with more information. So there is no way that ChatGPT could have known the magnitude of this disaster back then, unless it could have somehow computed all of the prior to September 2021 data to actually know how massive the La Palma eruption was going to become. Am I right? Scary, I know. It continues on to say, and I quote, "The next major earthquake could strike without warning at any moment. And when it does, it could bring an end to civilization as we know it." Again, Organic Me saying that ChatGPT as a language model is not coded to have any opinion or emotion. If you don't believe me, go ask ChatGPT yourself. It says, the cities would crumble, the infrastructure would be destroyed, and millions of lives would be lost. But it is not just surviving that we should be worried about. The next major earthquake could also have profound consequences, not just on the small chance humanity survives it, but its impact on the economy and our way of life, all of which could very well finish nature's cyclical cleansing. Okay, Organic Me again. This is some scary poop. I know, I just cannot say the other word because then this video is going to get demonetized by the algorithm, and then I won't be able to have enough money to keep on making any more research videos for your absolute pleasure and enjoyment. Talking about pleasure and enjoyment, if you're having a blast with this video, I invite you to hit the like button like a champ and subscribe so that other people out there can see what a big dog you are. Organic Me still here, letting you know that in 2022, humanity experienced the worst volcanic eruption since the Krakatoa of 1883. That one was called the Hunga Hapai eruption, or Tonga eruption for short, which caused a 50 feet wave tsunami, which struck the west coast of Tongatapu and Wapai. This same eruption also sent massive amounts of ash up into the air that cover an impressive 5-kilometer radius inland. Now let me ask you, are you thinking what I'm thinking? If we are both connecting the dots here, and I hope that we are, that means that ChatGPT may have been onto something back in September when the La Palma Cumbre Vieja eruption was still ongoing. Look guys, if history has taught us anything, is that these eruptions are signs of earthquakes to come. And sadly, the recent earthquakes in Turkey and Syria have been no exception to the rule. Obviously, ChatGPT's artificial intelligence models were already connecting the dots in spite of the limited information it had at the time. It was flexing its neural net muscles by showing how it was making an informed prediction or perhaps a warning of sorts. On a side note, I can only stop and wonder about how good could our seismic measurement tools may have been back in 1883, especially compared to what we have now. I mean, it's only been like 120 years of humanity's technological evolution. That's like comparing a horse carriage to the likes of a Tesla Model S Plaid. Just saying. Of course, I had to stop for a second there and ask ChatGPT about the new information that has come to light from the University of Peking in China. Is it possible that the Earth's core has stopped spinning? ChatGPT, of course, does not have any information after September 2021, and I knew about that. Nonetheless, I was still curious about what kind of answers this modern AI could compute with whatever it had before. Furthermore, the planet's rotation is driven by the transfer of angular momentum from the spinning solid crust to the underlying mantle and core, which helps to keep and is responsible for the Earth's core spinning. ChatGPT also says that the scientific community as a whole generally agrees that the Earth's core is still spinning, and that is responsible for generating the planet's magnetic field. Scientists continuously study our planet's core and geophysical processes through a variety of techniques, including seismology, geomagnetism, and geodynamics. They do this in order to better understand the planet's behavior and characteristics. ChatGPT also tells me that any findings or insights related to the Earth's core would be shared and discussed within the international scientific community. Organic me here again, putting my 2 cents forward. I found a couple of semi-contradictory parts to ChatGPT's answers. Yet, both outcomes to these answers could clearly lead anyone with a bit of common sense in them to think that the major seismic events are most likely in our near to immediate future. Our AI friend counterpart says that it has been observed that the Earth's magnetic field has been weakening over time. Interesting. And that this has led some scientists to believe that the Earth's core may be cooling and contracting. The cooling of the Earth's core would cause the inner core to solidify, thus leading to a decrease in its size. Again, ChatGPT is onto something here. As I hope most of you know, movement causes friction, which turns into heat, which by default occupies, well, you got it, more space than the same stuff when it's colder. Therefore, by using a bit of common sense, we can conclude that when ChatGPT said to me that the inner core may be cooling down, that what ChatGPT was really telling us is that our planet's inner core may in fact be slowing down. And that, my friends, is in line with what the Chinese experts on this subject are saying today. Think about this for a second. Hot stuff usually occupies a larger space. That's why a gallon of vapor water occupies about 1,000 times more volume than a gallon of liquid water would. So if ChatGPT, with the world's database running through its electrical veins, says to me that our planet inner core is cooling, and if at the same time the Chinese scientists are saying not only that the core has already come to a halt, but that it is in fact starting to spin backwards, well, what that's telling me is that perhaps the Earth may be very close to collapsing under its own weight, or that it may experience a correction in volume going inwards that is going to be at the very least as big as to fill whatever void may have been created by the planet's inner core stuff cooling down, which apparently just barely started to regain momentum in the opposite direction. The question is, can this momentum in the opposite direction translate into enough heat for the inner hot stuff to occupy the same volume as before and fill that void? And is it going to do so fast enough before the rest of the Earth above it comes crashing down as it tries to keep its structural rigidity? Look, if you pinch a water balloon on its side with, let's just say, a needle, and you left it alone, it would drip boringly slow, and I mean real slow. But if on the other hand you were to squeeze it, then absolutely, you would see a stream of water flowing out of it. So, what if, generally speaking, Earth had two kinds of periods of high eruption activity? I'm just putting this out there. One that would come at the peak of inner core momentum when there's a lot of heat, causing all this hot stuff to expand, all of this molten lava to occupy so much more volume that it would try to find its way through and out to the surface of the Earth, seeking some relief to all that pressure by awakening the planet's largest sleeping volcanoes. And another period of volcanic activity due precisely to a void in the planet's core during a period of less to none momentum inside our planet's core, because everything is cooling down, and as it cools down, it occupies less space, and when it occupies less space, it creates a void, because of course that is essentially a vacuum. So when it solidifies, it creates a pressure going inwards. That's what I'm trying to say. This, of course, causing the crust and everything below to try to come crumbling down in order to fill the void that has been created inside the vacuum of our planet's inner core. Therefore, making some of that lava want to come running rampant all the way up and through to the surface of the Earth, just as if we were somehow squeezing it like we did with the water balloon with a little hole in the side on the example we had before. Interesting, I must say. Our smart silicon friend continues on to say, "Ladies and gentlemen, how polite. It is time to prepare. It is time to think about what we can do to ensure that we are ready for the next major earthquake. It's time to take action, to strengthen our buildings, and to create evacuation plans cater specifically to seismic events, avoiding civil infrastructure that could collapse under such conditions, as well as steering away from any bodies of water such as the sea, lakes, or rivers, as well as steering clear from mountains that could be prone to massive landslides." All very good advice, if you ask me. It continues on and says, "We ought to educate ourselves on what to do in case of a disaster. We can't prevent the next major earthquake, but we can prepare for it. And by doing so, we can ensure that the impact is not as devastating as it could be. So let us stand together and face this challenge with courage and determination." To conclude, ChatGPT also made a very eerie remark right before it just stopped writing back to me. It just simply stopped. "It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when, and that when is long overdue. Did anybody say Yellowstone?" To which I replied, maybe everyone should stay tuned for that particular follow-up video. Cheers, viewers. Next video has to be about Yellowstone's sleeping volcano for sure. Congratulations! You just watched my very first video upload in the YouTube world, and I invite you to show me all of your support and subscribe, which is all the motivation I need to keep on creating awesome quality videos in the near future. Well, while we have a future. We will be discussing interesting and important topics using both organic and AI-based research for your entertainment. Who knows? Maybe watching this video, or perhaps some of our future ones, could one day save your own life. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.
Subscribe now.